Hello my friends all over the world, wherever you are. Today I'm making a very simple juice, and for the greens I'm using French sorrel, my favorite green because it sweetens up your juice, and carrots, and a few other ingredients. Let's look at those other ingredients. In addition to my carrots and my French sorrel, I have 2 medium-sized beets, 3 avocado pits, and most people don't know that there's nutrition in avocado pits and they throw them away. But you can grind them up and put them into juice. I have 120 grams of ginger, 1 whole head of garlic, and a small head of curly leaf lettuce. So let's make some juice. Now before we start making juice, I want to point out that I'm using the near zero blowback cutter, which has over 80 teeth cut into the cutter. And I'm using the front-loading feed tube. The front-loading feed tube will never spit produce up to your ceiling, and I mean never. So we'll take off the feed tube and put on the cutter. And then we'll start by feeding in, let's start with the French sorrel. Take the tray off because it's rattling a little bit and put it up here. I'll continue with French sorrel until I'm done with my greens. More French sorrel. Going to follow that by a couple of beets. And then 3 avocado pits. Now avocado pits you have to push through very, very slowly. Looks like my motor's working hard, so what I'm going to do is clean my grid. It's probably clogged with fiber. Yeah, it's clogged with fiber, all right. Use your knife to pry it out. Just stick the tip into one of the holes and pry it out. Yeah, as I suspected, full of fiber. No wonder those avocado pits would not shred. Now we'll finish the avocado pits and continue with the rest of our produce. Now for the garlic. More French sorrel. More turmeric. I'll follow that with some French sorrel and then the rest of my turmeric. Make sure your wing nuts are tight. Now the rest of my turmeric. Now that I'm done with my greens, I'm going to feed in a couple of carrots just to push through whatever greens are there. And I'm going to clean my grid again. And we'll continue with carrots until we're done. Now, this is the J grid, which is 3 16th-inch holes. I'll put that in the sink and clean it later, and I'm going to switch to 1/8-inch holes, which is better for carrots. And we'll continue. Now, if you ever see puddling down here, it's a good idea to push some carrots through and allow the pulp to come out. And that pulp will absorb that juice. Carrot pulp is excellent for absorbing juice. rest of my carrots. Now, one of the things I love about this front-loading feed tube is you can see in here what's shred and what's not shred. It looks like everything is shred, but just to be sure, I'm going to put a couple fingers full of pulp and push everything through. Now, every juicer that's bought from Whole Health Foundation comes with this cleaning brush, and always brush away from you when you're cleaning your cutter. So we'll clean the cutter, make sure the pulp is out of the end hole and the set screw holes. We'll set that aside, clean the grids. And clean the grid holder. And then we'll clean the feed tube. And this cleaning brush is perfect for cleaning the feed tube. Now, if you don't clean with the brush, eventually you're going to get a heavy calcium buildup inside the juicer. Now, I've been using this juicer for over a year, and you can see there's no calcium buildup in there. So next we're going to clean the front of the juicer. Now, before I assemble the cleaned parts, I'm going to clean the front of the juicer with the cleaning brush, up on the left, down on the right. And the reason you go up on the left and down on the right is you're not tightening these wing nuts. They remain loose. So either with a damp cloth or a spray nozzle such as the one I'm using here, clean the front of your juicer. Now, some people would dry it off with a paper towel. I'll do that today, but normally I don't. And then assemble the feed tube. And we'll put the cutter on top here with the hole facing down. Next, we're going to mix our produce to make sure the greens get mixed very, very thoroughly with the carrots. If you have carrots mixed with your greens, it will not stick to your cloth. If you're doing only greens or only fruit juice, you absolutely must use a bamboo liner. Otherwise, your pulp's going to stick with your cloth and you're going to have a cleanup nightmare. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is, on the edge of the counter, crack the ice on the claws. The claws came out of the freezer. And we always put them in the freezer so airborne contaminants and germs can't grow. So we'll remove the 6 claws, unfold them and place them on top of the pulp that we're going to turn into juice. Now here's the last of my claws out of the freezer. And I'm going to demonstrate now my 6-cloth less work method. And we begin by putting 3 scoops into each cloth. I'm going to pull this over so the claws don't hang over the countertop. You never know how clean your countertop is, and cleanliness is very, very important. So we'll put that aside, and we're going to press 2 cloths full of pulp at one time. So 3 scoops, folded in thirds just like they came in the package. And then 2 cloths into the press, right in the center. Check that your press plate's on there correctly, centered left to right, centered front to back, adjust if need be, all the way back, back it off. I see that's not centered. So I'm going to center it a little bit more and off and back it off a little bit. And we'll continue. And then when you're on your last cloth, advance it all the way and fill your last cloth. Now, my 6-cloth less work method. This goes forward, that goes over. The spent cloths go on top. And later I'm going to show you how to get 10% more juice because you do not throw away your pulp. Centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, back it off. Now, most people would throw this pulp away, mostly because nobody ever tells you that you should not do it. So on top of this, I'm going to put 2 scoops. Flatten that, set it aside. When you're on your last cloth, advance that all the way. And again, do not throw away your pulp. Put 2 scoops on top of the already pressed pulp. Now, this goes forward, that goes over. The spent cloths go on top. And we continue until we're done. If I had a larger batch of juice, toward the end of the folding I would put only 1 scoop because this patty here is getting thicker and thicker. For now we have a small batch and I don't think we're going to need to put 1 scoop. And it looks like we're down toward the end, so I'm going to put everything in here. And I'll use a spatula to get the rest of that. And continue. It looks like this is going to be a really big package. Advance it all the way. But I think we're going to manage. Yeah, it's not too big. This goes forward, this goes over, and our bowl is full, so I'm going to fill some bottles. Now I'm going to fill these bottles from the back side just so the camera gets a good look at what I'm doing. And notice I'm leaving 10% because I'm going to add filtered or distilled water, because generally speaking juice is very, very, very rich, and especially for a diabetic you don't want it to be too sweet. So let's finish pouring this and make more juice. Now I pushed this tray back so it wouldn't drip on the countertop. Let's assemble everything again and make the rest of our juice. Centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, back it off. Now while I'm pressing that juice, I'm going to form this spent pulp into a very tight ball. And I'll press it again to demonstrate that you can get 10% more juice. Now that's a lot. Usually it's 1 or 2 bottles more. And the juice in this last pressing has the most valuable nutrients, because what you're getting is not only nutrients but micronutrients. Okay, we'll turn that upside down, flatten it, set it aside. Advance that all the way and continue repackaging this. Now again, I'm using a very special folding technique. I'm folding this under 2 or 3 or 4 times in both directions, and that's so that we get less slippage. Turn this upside down, flatten it. Put in our last 2 cloths and continue repackaging the already pressed pulp. Again, centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, back it off a little bit. Now if you look closely, you'll notice it's damp around the edges. Now most people would not even know that, they just throw it away immediately. So I hope you're getting some good tips from my videos. And you pour this last bit into a ball. Under 2 or 3 or 4 times, as many times as you can get it, and fold it in both directions. Let's turn that off. And we continue with the last 2 cloths, forming it into a tight ball, and then we'll see how much more juice we can get. Now my friends, as you can see, I've got 3 double packets of repackaged pulp. Most people would have thrown this away, and that would be a terrible waste, especially at the cost of produce these days. So 2 repackaged cloths full of pulp into the press, centered left to right, centered front to back, adjust if need be all the way back, back it off. And I'm using a measuring beaker. Let me show you this before we press. I'm using a measuring beaker to measure how many more ounces of juice we can get. From the first batch, we've got almost 4 ounces of juice. And as long as you have a steady stream, you can leave this up all day long. And on the Whole Health Foundation model, we have a solid bottom plate that has a lifetime warranty. And that enables you to leave this press up as long as you want. Usually it's under 2 minutes, but as long as you have a steady flow, you can leave it up. And there we are, struggling to make droplets, and there we have droplets. So let's put in 2 more cloths. We'll take these out, and I'm going to repackage it again because it looks like there's still more juice in there. So let's put in 2 more packets, centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, back it off. And while that's pressing, I'm going to repackage this again. As soon as I get juice flow, advance that all the way. Now we'll repackage this a second time. Yep, there's still juice on the edges. Continue repackaging until this becomes droplets. There we go. Now there we have a little over 8 ounces from the first 2 sets of cloths. I've repackaged everything. Here's the 3rd set. And I'm going to repackage these cloths because you can see there's still dampness around the edges. So as soon as we get juice flow, I'll advance that all the way. And continue folding these other cloths into a round ball. Keep your eye on the jar because you can spill a lot on your countertop and you don't need to. So repackaging these spent cloths again a second time. There we have droplets, so we'll turn that off, and from that we got over 10 ounces, looks like 11 ounces so far. So we'll package that under, take these 2 out, put in another packet, double packet, right in the center, left to right, front to back, all the way back, back it off. And while that's pressing, I'm going to continue to repackage this. Now there we have about 20 ounces of juice, and we're still not finished pressing. So what I'm going to do is pour this into the collection container and then press the rest of the juice. Now I'm topping these bottles off with distilled water. You can use filtered water or even bottled water. And next we're going to cap them off and put them in the refrigerator. Now my friends, as you can see, we have 9 bottles of juice and enough for a taste test. And remember, more than one of these bottles, about 1 1/3 of these bottles came from pressing the already spent pulp that most people would throw away. So let's taste the juice
and see what it's
Well, my
like.
friends, here's a taste test on this batch of juice that was mostly French sorrel, carrots, some ginger, turmeric, and garlic, and a couple of beets. Oh, this is one of my best tasting juices so far, probably because of the French sorrel. Well, my friends, I hope you like what you've seen, and if you do, please tell a friend. If you'd like to call me, my phone number is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net, and my webpage is wholehealthfound.com. See you in the next video.